Yo, what's going on, guys? This is Houston Sports Talk back into the video today, and today the Memphis Grizzlies were swept by the Oklahoma City Thunder, and we're going to be talking about what the Memphis Grizzlies offseason plan needs to be after being swept. I'm going to go over it. This is going to be a long offseason for the Grizzlies. You had interest in trading for Kevin Durant at the trade deadline. Them and the Minnesota Timberwolves were two teams that late at the trade deadline had talks with the Suns. I think a lot of people are wondering, do those trade talks start to open up again in the offseason? Is Kevin Durant, the Grizzlies, a team Kevin Durant has interest in? I don't know if he were to have interest in them. I know there are probably other teams out there like maybe Minnesota or Houston Durant would have more interest in playing for. Or other teams potentially, but the Grizzlies, I know, are a team that could potentially, or Miami potentially for KD as well. But I think the Grizzlies are a team that could pop up as a team to watch out for Kevin Durant. And that's Kevin Durant's one of the only stars I look at and think, okay, possibly Memphis has a shot of adding in another superstar next to Ja Morant, and that's something you might want to do in Memphis. But we'll see if look. Here's the thing: Kevin Durant doesn't have a no trade clause. If Phoenix wants to send him to Memphis, they have the right to. But I feel like Phoenix would also be willing to work with KD if there's a place he doesn't want to go to. They're not going to send him there. And also, but for Memphis, here's the other thing I will say. It's not they don't have a great chance in a Kevin Durant trade because you got the Rockets who have the Suns draft picks, have young assets. I don't know what Phoenix would want from Minnesota, but they have young assets, they have solid draft picks. So, what would Memphis would have to throw up a good offer, I believe, in order to get Kevin Durant to get Kevin Durant to Phoenix. So get Kevin Durant to Memphis. I think it would likely take Desmond Bane and a good amount of draft picks to land him there. I think the trade I put together on a trade machine is Kevin Durant going to Memphis, Desmond Bane, Brandon Clark, and a 2027 first with 2 second round picks heading to Phoenix. I don't know. You guys, Grizzlies fans, let me know your thoughts on that potential trade in the comment section. Maybe with the way Bane struggled this series, maybe Grizzlies fans would be more open to it. And also, here's I think the other thing when you think about with Desmond Bane potentially trading him, not only does it get that second superstar next to Ja Morant, but the other thing, you got Jalen Wells at the shooting guard position, a guy with a lot of promise. Does trading Desmond Bane, is trading him away? Is an idea of doing that also, because of giving Jalen Wells more of a chance of playing time in his second year. Also, Scottie Pippen Jr. is a guy that I think you got guys like Scottie Pippen Jr. and Jalen Wells. Maybe it would be you'd be more willing to trade away Desmond Bane, especially if it could lead to getting Kevin Durant. But is Desmond Bane a first and Clark in a couple of seconds? Is that enough for Phoenix to let go of Kevin Durant? But look, Ja, Kevin Durant, Jaren Jackson, Jalen Wells, Scottie Pippen Jr., Zach Edey, that group, that would be the best chance that this Grizzlies team has had in years. This Grizzlies team has not been able to get to the conference finals. I would say this Grizzlies team would have their best chance to get to the conference finals since ever, and since Ja Morant's been in the Memphis Grizzlies. This would be their best chance if you added in Kevin Durant, paired him with Jaren Jackson, Ja, Edey, Wells, and the supporting cast of the Memphis Grizzlies. Am I saying they go to the Western Conference Finals? I don't think so, but I think they would have their best chance, especially with Ja for the first time in his career. And there's no disrespect to Jaren Jackson Jr. It's not like Ja doesn't play next to an All-Star, because Jaren Jackson Jr., I believe, is at this point with this season, with him getting an All-Star nod this year, is now a 2-time All-Star, I believe. So it's not like he's not an All-Star. Jaren Jackson is a 2-time All-Star. He's a great defensive player. Put some respect on his name, but Ja's never played next to another superstar, and that's something that I think could be added for this Grizzlies team. with KD this offseason. Jimmy Butler turned the Grizzlies down this year as well. He didn't want to go to Memphis. He told Miami no to Memphis, and so maybe you take a shot at Kevin Durant. But I think another big question for this Memphis team is the head coach position. Who is the head coach? If I'm Memphis, you got a young team, I would go after Sam Cassell. This is a guy that needs his first head coaching experience. I mean, he's been an assistant since the early 2000s, since he stopped playing. He went right into playing. He went right from playing to coaching. And he's been an assistant for about almost 20 years at this point, or maybe 20 years. And he's done a really good job the last couple of years in Boston as assistant, but before with LA and Philly, and has gotten looks as an assistant potentially to potentially get a job before. He's getting looks again this year. It's being talked about. Someone needs to give him a chance, and I think the Memphis Grizzlies are a perfect team for him to do that. With they're a young team, and so I think that Sam Cassell and Memphis could be a right fit with each other. And I think that's probably, to me, in my opinion, that's probably the best fit for the Memphis Grizzlies. If anybody thinks otherwise, please let me know. And who would you guys like to see Memphis bring in? But I think the next thing I'll get into is some of Memphis's free agents. This has to be a big thing for Memphis in the offseason, is re-signing Santi Aldama. He's going to be a free agent. You gotta work on getting him back. Averaged 12.5 points per game, 7 rebounds per game, 3 assists per game, great three-point shooter. Another guy you got to work on bringing back is another great three-point shooter, Luke Kennard. Memphis was way better from three this year, and Kennard and Santi Aldama are two guys that help that. There are other guys that are great three-point shooters on this Memphis team, but they are two really good three-point shooters for this Memphis team, and they've got to bring back Luke Kennard and Santi Aldama. And the other free agents, I don't know what happens with guys like Lamar Stevens, Cam Spencer, Marvin Bagley. I don't know what happens with those guys, but I know Aldama and Kennard have to be re-signed. But I think if I'm Memphis the offseason, you hire Sam Cassell, you re-sign Kennard and Aldama, and you make a move for Kevin Durant, even if it costs you Desmond Bane. And I think it's definitely more comfortable moving Desmond Bane when you've got Jalen Wells and Scottie Pippen at the guard position next to John Morant as the future. Scottie Pippen and Jalen Wells this year showed a lot of promise, especially Scottie Pippen Scottie Pippen Jr. in these last couple games, in Game 3 and Game 4. Or really just the last couple games since Jalen Wells has been injured. So what does this Grizzlies team look like if you trade for KD, let go of Bane, hire Sam Cassell, re-sign your two key free agents? You've got starting lineup of Jalen Wells, KD, Jaren Jackson Jr., Zach Edey. On the bench, you got Gigi Jackson, Vince Williams, Scottie Pippen, Luke Kennard, and Santi Aldama. Very solid bench with a lot of good three-point shooting off the Grizzlies bench. And I think this would be a really good team. I think for Memphis, you'd probably be a top 6, top 5 team in the Western Conference. Or I would say maybe probably top 5, especially with KD, Jaren Jackson, and Ja, and the supporting cast outside of that. But so I think Memphis would definitely be a solid team if they made those moves. But the only question is, moving on from Desmond Bane, that's the whole killer, because Desmond Bane has 3 years left on his contract. Still 4 years left on his contract. He just signed a big contract. So, how willing would they be to let him go? But I think he has to be the corner piece in getting Kevin Durant, because you got Houston, who's going to throw out, all of Phoenix's picks back, or most of Phoenix's picks back to get KD. So you've got to be aggressive with the offer, and Desmond Bane and Brandon Clark and draft picks could get it done. Let me know your thoughts on what the Memphis Grizzlies offseason plan should be in the comment section, and peace out.